That one goes to that knee. Yep. Yep. Don't you have about 50? Your last one. Stretch out some hamstrings and some legs. Just going down and walking your feet up.
What are they called? They're called worms.
Caterpillars.
Caterpillars or worms, some sort of slug.
Slugs. Nice one. And Jarrah, I'll just grab you. Right, you guys are all good. The last bit of the warm-up, just like last week that we're going to do, for those who are here, just some kind of 101. Alright, so you jump down, jump into mount, for example. Jarrah's going to trap an arm, kick you forward, trap an arm. Okay, he goes into guard. He's then going to break the guard, get side control, get to mount. Right, now it's just my turn. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trap an arm, get him over, pin an arm, same side that I pin an arm, going to break the leg, any way that I see fit, whether it's a knee cut. And then mount. We're just going to do a few of those each just to get in that movement of guard to mount to guard to mount to warm up everything. Partner. So for today's lesson, what we're going to go over is trapping the arm much like last week from closed guard, and we'll really revise a lot of what we did last week because we need to revise those. Pulling guard, there was 3 different ways to get an arm trap, there was 3 different submissions. It's a lot to kind of cement in your brain on one night. So we're going to revise a lot of those things first up. The first one, just really quickly, is pulling guard of what we did last week. Okay? So we started pulling guard. First thing we do is we get our grips. So I've got one arm, either elbow, wrist, and then one on the lapel. You can see this over here. To pull guard, I'm going to put the same leg on the hip that I've got the arm control. That way he can't put that arm on my leg and either take it for a leg takedown or take me down, get the points in a roll. Okay, so I've got this here, trapping that there. All I'm going to do then is come down here, side on. I don't, revising everything, I don't just fall straight back. Okay, it's kind of hard to do anyway to fall straight back, but I want to be that side on. Get my right leg through and chop his back down. Right, that gets him down to me. Wearing closed guard. Okay, so that was the fundamental way to do it. For those who came last week, if you're happy with pulling guard, okay, another cheeky way to do it, to build a bit of momentum, is I'm going to step across myself and create that momentum. He's already coming to me. Okay? So for those who are comfortable pulling guard, it's the exact same movement, except first with my right leg, because I'm putting my left leg up, I'm stepping across myself to make that movement. Chopping down, just as previously. I've still got a hand lock. Do 3 of those each.
Yeah, nice. You just stop yourself. When you pull guard, pulling with that right hand, so he does a bigger circle and unbalances.
Yeah, so if you're controlling...
So step, foot, unbalancing. Yes, and now get that other leg through. A bit better. Good.
No, so because it's the same leg...
Because the reason you don't fall back, you two know this, I'm just talking on camera, sounding like I've got knowledge, but the reason is that if you fall straight back, he just pulls back like a mule. Whereas he can't pull back in a circular motion. Newton discovered that. Yeah, you got to pull him a bit more. You know, like Newton, they all go about the apple in the tree. Was it Newton or was that someone else? Yeah, well, because that's the hard bullshit. All his stuff's about BJJ. He was sitting there thinking about pulling on things and circular motion. That's how he came up with his second walk, because he was one of the original BJJ practices. Anyway, keep going. Don't quote me on it. Circular motion. Newton's second law. Is it? Yeah, now put your foot through. Good. Pulling down that foot across his back and really hack into him to pull him down. Create that momentum. Now you're good to go.
So that's that chopping piece with that other leg that slides through, and full on chop it back down.
Okay, right. I caught that too on camera. We're going to get some improvement here though. Alright, so you're grabbing, right? So what are you doing? Tell me which arm that you're going to track. Now, he's still got a lot up there. I'd be grabbing there and controlling that arm. So that means this foot is going up. That means you're stepping your left foot. Oh, actually, for now, just put your foot, point your toes out, right? And have it all tight. And just get used to falling to this side. Go. There you go. All right, that's all right.
That's all right. Just do that a few more times, just a falling part. That's right.
Actually, yeah. I'd fall away from that. Just hold on.
Yeah. Just the other side of the leg.
I think that's a bit low. Get this grip up a bit higher. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, get that leg up. Pull guard. Now,
Yeah,
into guard. Now you can get guard.
That's it.
That was good.
Alright guys, we'll move on to the next one.
That's right. That's pulling guard.
That was the first part of last week. The second part of last week as well is we were already in guard. So I'm going to cover these really quickly. For those who weren't here this week, I'll say which one to practice now, because it's the most effective one. So in closed guard now, I've pulled Jared down to me. Key points of when we're in closed guard, I want to keep his posture broken any way that I can. That's pinching my legs, bringing him forward. That's putting his hands on the mat. It's touching the collar, whatever it needs to be. For this particular position, I'm going to try and trap an arm. So we have our different methods of trapping the arm. First one is swimming. 2 hands under, putting them on the mat. Right to here, right? That's all the first one is. The key points of this position is I've wrapped his arm with my left hand, I've trapped it to the side of my body, and I'm now holding the far lapel. Okay, so I've passed that to myself. This is a pretty uncomfortable position for Jared to just hold in. So first one, swim our hands under, place them on the mat nice and slow, grab that lapel, open it up, pass it to myself. Number 1. Number 2, because I've been pulling Jared down for ages, he wants to sit back. All this one is I'm sitting up and bringing him to me. Very similar once again. They're just different situational positions. The first one, he's here. Second one, I've been doing other things. He's a bit worried about putting his hands too close, so he's sitting back. I sit up, right? Bit of ab work to get myself up there, but then we're in the same position. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, which is the most effective, is I'm going to get a cross grip, and I'll go over this one in a bit of detail, because for the people who weren't here last week, we're going to do this one. So if his right hand is here, I'm going to use my right hand and grab his wrist, right? The gi and his wrist. I'm going to go my arm under and attain a Kimura grip. Okay, that's the Kimura grip. From there, I'm going to break and pull up to myself. That breaks his grip, because now I've got 2 hands on the one. Break his grip, bring it behind my head. Meanwhile, this arm was here to break it. I swim this under, and I get a nice, deep overhook. Okay? That's the overhook position. For all 3, once we're in this position, what I want you to do as well, every single time, we block this arm, and we hip out and put our left leg onto his hip. So the ball of my foot is now on his hip, because this sets up all the follow-on attacks and positions we're going to get to from here. This leg is still over his back. It's breaking his posture down, stopping him from moving, okay? And that's the final position. We're a bit on our side. We're not just sitting here or sitting on our back flat like this, because that doesn't give the angles to attack any position from here. Push ourselves out and hip ourselves out so that we have our, in this case, my left ball of my foot on his hip, and I'm clamping down with that knee as well. Is everyone happy with that? So for the new people, try that last one who weren't here last week. For the others, try doing 3 of each of the positions to get an armbar. So 9 each will be. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Sorry. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Good. Right, this time, I'll make it nice and tight. So you're going to do the Kimura hold. Remember there, break it, pull it up over your head, and now take this hand under there, under there, and then over. And then you can use that hand to feed.
So you can grab a bit lower, and even pull more of that out and feed it across the lower. It doesn't have to be high. That's good. Well done.
Squeezing my
And then straight into that choke from last week, I think.
got you there. Kimura.
That's all right. Go back. Yep, go around. And feed it in. Good. I would turn your thumb up in there. I would turn it the other way. Yep, good. Now kick yourself out to the side so you're really oblique. Enfilade, oblique, good. And then you're putting pressure on here and you're going to learn some attacks from there tonight.
Yeah.
Always good.
And then what was like the sit-up one? Where so you're sitting back, and then is it
Just he's sitting back. The reason that I'm doing this is he doesn't have his hands here because you've been pulling him into different grips, right? So he's sitting back, and he's never going to sit there back, right? But he's just gone back and doesn't have pressure on you, just because you pulled him forward and he's lurched back. You just jump, sit up. That's it. Pass through. Much like you want to kind of do a sit-up sweep or something.
yeah, give it a go.
Yeah, so you don't want her arm to get out.
Okay.
No, keep that arm trapped.
Sit up.
That's all it is. Yeah. And then you hip out to this side, that foot. You're good, but get it on there. Join his hip because this sets up arm. If you get it to there, bring it in.
Just go back to that. Go back to the start. Yep, grab. Now you jerk it off. Up. Now take that hand. No, don't go there. Come back on the inside. That's this hand now comes back that way.
Alright.
So just do that a few times and get that happening.
See how you get it all the way. It's nice and tight here.
You can go around the board.
Alright, let's jump back in to revise the submissions. So we're going to do the 3 from last week, okay, and do the exact same thing. For those who were here last week, try all 3 again, try and something in your mind. New people, choose one of these and stick to one of these, just drilling the same one. Okay, so we'll do the fundamental one first. We are in the position, as you can see here, my knees up because I've got my foot on his hip and I'm keeping him to that side so he doesn't push me back flat, because this is how I access the submission, which is his neck. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to slap his back on this side. When you generally slap someone's back, you get enough gi. Grip the gi, put my forearm under his neck, squeeze, tap. That's all it is. You're using this arm, and the reason you want to climb that arm high is because it cuts there, this arm's going under, submit, right? That's the first choke. The second choke, I explained it last week, a little bit what some of people would call dirty. Don't do it too often on your training partners, but great for a competition or something. It is simply putting my fingers inside of the gi and punching. It's almost an immediate choke, right? So it's called a punch choke. You don't punch the neck, but you put your fingers inside the gi, slowly move your hand against that and apply a bit of pressure. Because the pressure that's already on the other side, it's almost an immediate choke. Yeah, you don't really need to do too much for that one, right? So
you're not rolling your fingers or anything.
I'm not rolling, not doing anything weird, no need. It's just straight on, right? That flat of that part of my knuckle is just going straight against the neck so it doesn't hurt too much, right? Cutting that neck. The final one is a bit more difficult. From here, we are trapping that arm and getting an armbar, right? So this is just a cutting armbar, right? You'll need to work with where you are and your opponent's limbs to make sure you've got the elbow, because that's the bit that you're getting with this. With this leg, the reason we've had it here the whole time as well is because that just transfers straight down onto that. We extend ourselves out. Okay, so I'm starting from here, I'm nice and close. I'm doing different things. He's blocking this arm. Okay, I'm not going to get the chokes. I extend myself out by pushing on his head and armbar. Okay. Those are the three from last week. For those who have done them, once again, 3 of each. You guys have a go at all of them, 1 of each, or give one a try. Okay? Yeah. That's the fundamental traditional choking position. So something you can do here. Put your ball of your foot in that area, and then your heels out, right? That gives you the momentum to do that. Yeah, like that. More like that.
Arm.
Probably get the arm. Yeah, it's harder on longer arms. But you need to have his arms straight because he's twisting it the other way. You need to reach that elbow and you push this down.
So that see the leverage point.
You're too high.
You're too high. You need to go nearly below
That's
that
about
elbow.
that creating that space.
Yeah, keep going back. Go below the elbow. Below the elbow.
There we go.
Take this hand below his elbow.
Yeah. And it needs to be straight. You can do different kimuras and stuff. Like once he starts moving that arm, we'd switch to the omoplata, which we're going to do later. If he's got this straight, right there, below the elbow,
Good. Feed it on the inside, over the top. Yeah. You're good. It's all good. Get out to the side a little bit. Put your feet in, and then pull with your left hand. Pull that gi back, and then slice with this hand the elbow across his throat. Go. Pull the left hand harder. Use your hips, right? Hold it. Use your hips to create the momentum. Good. Well done.
First couple of chokes, okay? I've got here and I've got to here. I've got that nice and tight up there. At this point, I'm trying to go for a different choke. What's Jara's reaction going to be? It's going to be to try and stop with that other arm. That's all he has to stop with the choke, right? The deeper that arm is, the better chance that I have on this arm bar underneath. So if I'm going in here, Jara puts his arm up, right? What I'm now going to do is grab this arm, pull it through, and then release the lapel. Okay, so I'm releasing the lapel on this one. I'm feeding that through and grabbing the far side of his tricep. Can you move that out now? Really, really difficult to move that arm. Right now I've got 2 arms. From there, swing over the top, and now I have the arm bar. Okay, extend it out, and that's all it is. That's the arm bar. Okay, so it's from the far side, am I getting that arm bar? And the reason that I'm setting this up again is because I'm threatening the chokes. That brings that reaction. I can feed that through. I can either grab the elbow and feed it through to myself. I can grab it with this one, feed it through, okay? Preferred method is once I've got here, getting in close with that, and then grabbing that tricep. That locks it in really, really tight for Jarrah. Then I switch my body out, so I am side on to Jarrah, put my leg over the head, sit back. For the armbar itself, I want the thumb facing to the sky. If it's facing down, facing other ways, okay? It's not the same. The thumb facing upwards, extend, bridge my hips up. That creates the armbar. Any questions with that one? So we're going to try that one a few times. It's a little tricky to pass that arm through and trap it. You need to remember the fulcrum as well of the elbow and the arm when you're getting any kind of arm bar. So it's not going to work if that elbow is kind of below the point at which I can essentially break it. Okay? So give that a few shots, pass that arm through and see how you go.
Excellent, excellent.
So the next one is just a basic triangle. Everyone kind of learns a triangle early on and the key fundamentals. This doesn't change it at all. It just makes it easier because you've already trapped an arm, just like with most of these. They're just the most basic level of submissions, a lot of them. You've just already trapped them. And for those with short, fat legs like myself who aren't good at triangles, we'll use this triangle to then set up an omoplata for when my triangle inevitably fails. So we're here, right? Once again, threading that choke. Jarrah knows now not to like shove his whole arm in there because I'm going to armbar him. So he's just got a little hand on the side here, okay? All I'm doing then, because it's there and his arm's there, all I'm doing is throwing a leg up to get a triangle, okay? It doesn't matter that much if he still has his tiny bit of his hand in there. That's not going to really stop my triangle, okay? I can still bring him down. I can still get the submission from this triangle. From here, I bring the arm across. I grab my leg, okay, on this side, create the angle for the triangle, finish the triangle. We'll do that one again in slow time. There's a few moving parts to a triangle. So we're here, I'm threatening again, right, always threatening that side. He's just got a little hand there because he's not defending too well and he's kept it close to his body, okay? It's just perfect to throw a leg up into a triangle and lock this position. From here, I can move myself around, get that angle so that my leg is cutting across his neck and the back of the head. The reason some of you won't have to grab this leg, I do because of the short legs. I lock it in, bridge and bring this arm across, triangle. Then if you use the hands. Is everyone happy with the triangle? It's just for when they're not throwing the whole arm through. It's a really easy, presentable submission from that position. Give that a go, 5 times each. Triangle as well, and it depends where you are and how you set it up. We'll go into it in terms of if we're doing that first kind of arm bar on the near side, but we can't get that arm bar. Alright? Fair few parts to this one. So I've got him here, right? I'm bringing him down, but I can't get the arm bar. What most people will do is in this position, he will turn his arm to that way, right? That arm bar's not working because I'm just going with that support. I haven't caught it straight. So what I'm going to do from here, I've already got this leg up here. For this particular omoplata setup, all we're going to do is make Jarrah smell my feet, right? So he's going to smell that foot. From there, I can bring that foot up. I don't have to do this to Jarrah, this is just a way to create space. If he was trapping this leg, right, I could bring that up to create the space. And then I'm just going to lock. Okay? I'm locking my legs here. From here, I can let go of his lapel. Bring my right hand to his arm. My left hand, as I go back, goes to his belt. The initial part of getting an omoplata, almost always, they will try and roll. If I don't have, I don't have that belt or the back and control his back, he's just going to roll out of the omoplata. Okay? So that's why I'm putting that arm. So we'll go through it again. Bring this leg across in front and then lock him. Okay? Once I've locked, I switch. So I've got my hand, one hand on there, and what I'm doing is I'm sitting up, okay? With my legs still crossed, okay? Either way, doesn't matter. This is the start of it. While some people would go from here, I think the best way to do this is to now create some space. With this space between me and Jarrah, I'm going to bring Jarrah into that space. Okay, this gives him very little momentum to do anything with. From here, switch my legs to the outside, reach over, right, traditional omoplata, reach over and start to sit up. There's very little and slow movements here, okay? Once you're here, and be careful the whole time, if I've got his arm here. Omoplata is like Portuguese for scapula, I think, and that's what you're breaking. And it can be really tight. So once I'm getting to here, I'm moving really slowly in that sitting up movement, okay? So that was one way that it can be done. That's the way that we do it. But for example, if we were in the triangle from before, okay, and he just manages to get his head through, I'm here again. Okay? That's another setup. So this is for a number of the positions when they're not quite working out. They get their head out of that triangle, or if they move that arm, when that arm is bent behind them, like I couldn't get that armbar, that's the perfect time to try the omoplata. We want to see that one more time and start. I'm back in this position, still got that. I'm trying to extend him, right, and get this armbar, but he's moved it out. Bringing my leg across, smell the feet, lock that there, switch grips. Okay, I'm still back here. Here, I can sit up, make space to bring him in. Switch my legs, sit up. We'll give that a crack.